Hey guys, Dave from Nerdarchy, 4 Nerds by Nerds. Hang out with these nerds today.
Nathan Nerdarchy.
Nerdarchy is dead.
And we are doing it live. Weekly wrap, questions and answers, questions and adventures, whatever you want to call it. We're doing that thing. And yes, we are going to be taking questions as always. And what is on our? We have a list of things to do, I suspect.
There's no list.
There's no list, or there's no things to do.
There's no list. We can just go home.
Okay, nice.
All right, I'm home. Let's put my feet up.
Today, I think, is our off week for announcements and things.
We don't have any giveaways to talk about at the moment.
Oh yes, we do. We have the one that's still going on.
Oh, okay. Well, we've got the one that's going on. Nothing to say it's a new one. We've got nothing to actually
give away.
You got your
we game can give away
coming up. I think his family would have a problem if we gave him away.
Depends on the day.
So, speaking of giveaways, we do have the giveaway, the 40K contest that we're running. That is in the description below. You can find a link to it. As well as, also, I don't know if it made it there. Perhaps we should put it there. But we were on GM Tips, and that's finally up and live. So that would be something you guys can check out if you want to. A bunch of you guys have already checked it out, and that is awesome. Like, I have read through every comment on there so far. I might be a little bit behind now. I have to catch up because we've been shooting videos today. But I've been reading and commenting back on a lot of the comments, and the amount of love we've gotten over there is tremendous. There's like over 200 comments.
I like the one comment where the guy's like, "Man, I wish Nerdarchy, had this sound this good in their regular videos." I'm like, oh.
So do we.
Yeah. But I think the gap between what we use for sound and what they use for sound is pretty big.
I mean, I had a body mic on, Nate and Satine actually had
David Satine.
What did I say?
Nate.
Oh,
you were looking at me, so it's understandable.
My apologies. Dave and Satine had the one mic that was between the two of them, but I had the body mic running up through the show.
Yeah, she actually probably had a body mic on as well, and they had the other one for me there. So, plus, like, the beard makes it tough anyway. I hear audio and sound is a nightmare for with us bearded folk.
You have to have like the wire ones that stick through the beard with a little
something. We need to have something.
There's just so much scratching noises that go on.
Well, thankfully,
some 80s style.
Thankfully, there was none of that with mine.
Yeah.
But it worked out pretty good. And like just like you guys, I've been anticipating watching this thing since it dropped on Alpha. I'm not signed up for Alpha yet. I've been meaning to, just haven't got around to it. And I was like, oh, I can't even watch it because people are asking me about it. I'm like, I don't have Alpha. I can't watch it.
Well, I watched it, and I was so happy that they left her reaction in at the end to GM out.
Oh, yeah.
Because I was curious as how that was going to go, whether they were going to just snap edit it so it went from you to finish, and her to just doing her closing. So I thought that was kind of amusing.
It was really good. I mean, it was like I literally felt like we did the GM tips and it took like 5 minutes, like in hindsight. But when I realized that they got like a whole 21 minutes of it, I was really impressed. And literally like 3 minutes is her intro thing, and the other 18 minutes is all of it. So I was like, and we didn't suck. Woo!
Well, I've gotten a lot of comments from fans and friends who have watched it, and they're like, wow, this is awesome.
You guys need someone to edit you guys and make you look awesome all the time.
But there's people who's like, you nailed that. That was really great advice. So there was a lot of stuff that was come back with naught but praise.
Yeah, and then there was a lot of, can't you guys get WebDM instead? No, they didn't say instead. They said 2.
Yes.
I am actually working on connecting those folks up, so we'll see what happens. There's a lot of there's a lot of things that go on there, so that makes it kind of tough. But that would be cool if WebDM would get on and hang out with the team. So they'd have a great GM's tips, I'm sure. I'd be very much looking forward to it. So we're trying to wrangle that and make it happen. Can't promise you anything.
And I can't get into this, so you can take over.
Oh, do we want to get into questions?
Yeah, Ted's been trying the whole time.
Well,
denied.
We've been warned that there is a doozy of a question from from Xerath Gaming.
Yeah, about Tomb of Annihilation.
Oh, yes. I do have a concern for Tomb of Annihilation with all this extra content like dinosaur races and tomb exploration. Do I feel it would distract players from the main adventure?
Well, there are not dinosaur races unless you're talking about actually dinosaur racing. So it depends upon what word of races you're referring to, because there is a Sariel in the book, but
it's not like a whole. I haven't seen the Sariel yet.
Okay.
So
it is definitely anytime you propose alternate activities, there are times that people are going to say, forget the main storyline, I'm going to go do these alternate activities.
Yeah.
And that's just going to depend upon the players that you're actually gaming with. And if that's the thing that interests them, forget the storyline. Let them have fun. You know, I mean, isn't that what DMing is all about?
And for later, you can always just up the threat level of the encounters if they come back after doing a whole bunch of side quests and they're all, ripped and powerful and stuff.
Because, truth be told, I read that section and I think I could have a lot of fun. Like, oh, well, can I bet on them or can I go race them? Yeah, I could certainly get involved in that for, a session or three and have fun with it. But,
yeah. And also the way that dinosaur racing actually works, it's not like, hey, there's a dinosaur race, specific dinosaur races going on. It's these are the rules to add this into the game. So you as the GM could be like, there's no races, if you wanted to do that.
You managed to come on the day or the week that the dinosaurs, are in respite, or like too many of them were killed in the last race, and the Wranglers are out looking for more, and then they're going to need to be trained. So, move along.
So it's not like it's actually like part of the adventure per se, where it's like scripted and written in there. There's definitely some options that you have for controlling it as the GM if you wanted to. I mean, I'm like, whatever. The death curse just continues on. People just are going to keep dying and staying dead. But hey, I hope you're enjoying those dinosaur races.
As long as I'm not dying, no problem, right? Right?
Well, a terrible accident where several people were trampled by
dinosaurs.
By dinosaurs.
Yeah, so there's that.
They were just spectators from outside the region.
Well, I think I've actually broken into the chat.
Yeah. So we have another question from Sky Dreamer. Hey guys, question for y'all. In 5th edition, I have someone in my party that is wanting to buy a city to make a fortress. The city is owned by Drow, and he is a gnome. How would I handle this situation?
Well, first he needs to get $250,000 gold and start there.
Well, that's for his fortress, right?
Well,
they're pretty pricey.
To buy a city and a fortress, I think that's going to be your starting point.
And it's also who owns it. If it's a city and it's got Drow in it, perhaps the Drow are all in their own houses and they own ancestral homes. They're not going to want to leave. So if the gnome thinks like, oh, this crystal tower is really cool that brings light down to this deep beneath, I want to own this. Well, they've already decided they wanted to own it. So I don't see him buying that particular spot.
So it's whenever DMs, come to us with questions like this, and they're like, I don't know what to do. Well, first and foremost, you have to ask yourself, is it something that you want to allow? And if it's something that you want to allow, great. Set up things that you feel are going to be an adequate challenge, whether it be acquire X amount of gold, go on X number of quests to facilitate this type of trade negotiation. Or other things that might come to pass, and then allow it to happen. If you don't want it to happen, set obstacles that are insurmountable. If the Drow are owning the city, they don't want to sell, you could just straight up say no. And what is a lone PC going to do against an entire Drow city that don't want to evacuate?
Yeah. You can totally Matt Mercer that shit. Although they say Matt Mercer, but I'm pretty sure that he did not coin the phrase, but you can try that, right? And you can absolutely try that. And the Drow might not want to sell, or they can't get the permits or get what they need. But I would allow them to try and find other ways. And if they started coming up with really fun and interesting stuff, like, maybe they will figure it out. I don't know. But I would put reasonable obstacles in their way that may or may not be insurmountable. It just depends on the climate. You don't ever want it to seem like I'm the DM and I'm just telling you no. It should be things in the game telling them no. Like in instance, I want to build a fortress. Well, to build a fortress in this particular place, you have to have permission. And if they say no, then all right, well, the next step is, well, how can you get permission? And you can start working on that. And that may or may not come to pass. I mean, even, in a feudal system, not just anyone could be like, I'm building a castle and I'm going to do this and do that. No, there was probably somebody you had to answer to, and they had to say yay or nay. And if you tried doing it without the permission, they will crush you.
So you need a mercenary company to hang out around the place while you're building it. And then once you have the castle, you'd be like, so what? I've got a castle and I've got a mercenary company.
Right. Now I'm going to crush you. Yeah. But now when you're talking about like a whole city, that may be a little bit tougher.
Yeah, a little more complications. The gnome is male and it's a drow city well fortified with female wizards. So drow tend to be matriarchal in nature. So
they might not like a male.
Probably going to turn them down.
Yeah, so I mean, really, the next step is some role playing. Like, okay, well, what would be a reasonable way of making this happen? What is that route, and have him go down the path?
Polymorph himself into a female gnome,
or a female drow, even better.
Yeah,
and start there.
Polymorph himself into Loft. Just do that. Christian Morales, what do you guys and girls think of a samurai fighter monk? And someone answered it pretty soon after that. And that was Jeremy Nerdarchy. I think multi-classing just makes you worse version of both. I would agree, but that doesn't mean it isn't fun. And also, sometimes you can put together some cool combinations where you're really good at doing specific things. But as a whole, I always find that multi-classing generally is the weaker option.
So it depends upon how much of a dip and what classes you're talking about. Some classes, they get their keystone ability at level 20. So getting out of it is always going to be the weaker option when you're talking about a 20th level character. There's times that multi-classing with certain things in the 5 to 15 bracket really, nails it, and you get some amazing options. But once you get over that threshold and you get into the really high levels, you quickly falter. But as Dave says, if you want to do it for fun, or you want, I want that second level ability or third level ability from this thing because it's going to augment this other thing really well, go for it, have fun, do as you like. It's your player character.
Right. Like my fighter wizard is insanely hard to hit. Like he's getting to the point where, natural 20, even at the higher levels when he starts ramping up his stuff. But he doesn't hit as hard as the fighter and the other fighter in the party. He doesn't cast spells as well as the other spellcasters in the party. So he just has he occupies this weird niche where it's really hard for him to be damaged. But that being said, he kind of needs it too because he doesn't have as many hit points as some of the other characters, like the rogue.
Well, the rogue's got a magic item to give him a 19 con, I believe. So
he does.
He does.
He must lose it to me.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah, exactly. Steal it from the rogue. Not going to wear it. With the fighter monk, you can also do more like wire fu samurai stuff because you're going to be doing the leaping fast, leaping higher, jumping, and running as well. So you've got that kind of aspect to it.
When you look at fighter monk, like I'm going to question, like, okay, what archetypes are we looking at? I can imagine a fighter battle master combined with monk. You could do some really amazing stuff. Or like if you wanted to focus completely on like the perfection of self, and you combine, open hand with champion, I think you could be pretty amazing with, acts of physical stuff.
They're talking about samurai, which I don't remember that off the top of my head. But yeah, again, essentially that's what it is. It's like it can be fun and it can be cool, but most likely it will be underpowered compared to a single class, and that's been my experience. And there's nothing wrong with it. Pru, hey, good job, guys, at DM tips with Satine. A+, my bearded darlings. Woo!
Again, I'm glad you guys enjoyed it.
We certainly did. We would love to do it again, do it again, or do some other thing. We are in talks about another road trip and doing another guest appearance thing. So that would be kind of cool too.
Doug asks if are Tortles tortly enough for Tortle Club?
Yes.
You decide.
I say yes.
That's funny. What do you think, Doug? You've looked at them. Are they tortly enough?
And some people are suggesting that some were-rat finds 4 baby turtles and trains them in the ways of ninjutsu.
That very much may need to happen.
Speaking of fighter monks.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, so we got the download. We checked it out. We shot a video on it. That'll go up Monday. So Monday will be busy for the WOTC stuff. It's going to be the Unearthed Arcana, and it's going to be that's a lot of races. For us to break into for Monday. But it's all good stuff.
I sadly was otherwise engaged when they did the Tortle video. I had lots of stuff I wanted to talk about. So,
Just have to save all the puns and everything else for otherwise. Some other time.
Wouldn't it be Shadow Monks? I think you're right, because Way of the Shadow is the most ninja of the monk.
Yeah, when you've got like the open hand or whatever. I don't remember what it's called. The open hand. You've got all the like kung fu stuff there. So
you do. Well, they all have martial arts.
Yeah.
But
you can knock people down and kick them and make them fly.
But for the Ninja Turtles, I would absolutely say that they would be
Way of the Shadow.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Or you could
especially if you look at like the original TMNT movie, it's like you must.
I was thinking
about
the comics, but well, that's just stealth. That's just having stealth. You're not teleporting.
They do some stuff that's pretty darn close.
Criminal background.
Criminal background.
Way of the open hand. So we're doing this right now. We're gonna D&D-ize. We're gonna D&D-ize the Mutant Ninja Turtles plus Splinter. Splinter's a were-rat. He's got the hermit background, and
because he knows stuff.
Secret stuff. And maybe he's Way of the Shadow. And the other 4 are just friggin'. Well, they could be urchins. Urchin will work well, and that would give you stealth.
And that could also let you move around the city quickly.
And they also get a pet mouse, which could be Splinter. And they're turtles, of course.
Of course, they're turtles.
You sure that?
Strength and wisdom, man. Strength and wisdom.
Yeah, so I think we're all digging on them. Yeah, we've seen the conflict already flying between their natural armor and ways to use it
or abuse it,
which there really isn't. Like Wizards of the Coast has thoroughly thought this out after 3rd edition.
They're like, no, if you're somehow calculating armor class beside the normal way, then it's this. Pick one, and that's it. Initially when I looked at 5th edition, like I saw the things and I was immediately like, oh, barbarian, monk, sorcerer, yay! I get all of these things. But
Joshua Ramonda.
Really, I immediately said, no, there's no way that they're going to give you a 17 and let you do anything. Oh, you're talking about for originally.
Like,
yes, we're all like, I wonder if this can stack.
When the player's handbook first hit, like that was one of the things, I looked at. I'm like, okay, I'll get my dex, my constitution, my wisdom, and a 3 right on top. I'm like, all right, this is golden.
I have a 50 armor class, and they're like, no, you don't.
I mean, at best, you could have 2s in each of the stats. So that would put you at a 19 as a 3rd level character.
Well, eventually you get the 5s.
Well, now you can have a 19 as a fighter turtle.
Yes.
With a shield.
You can. But the only question I have to see if it's been answered or not yet is, can you go into the shell and still use your shield?
Have an elasto strap that just sticks to the front of you, gives you like plus.
You need an animated shield.
Oh yeah.
Then you can totally do it.
Yeah, that'd be fantastic. And then you can cast a shield spell.
Well, I just
no, you can't. You have no actions.
That's right.
The only action you can have is a bonus action to come out.
And you can concentrate, which doesn't cost anything.
You can concentrate, which I'm curious of the ways they abuse, hiding in your shell and concentrating.
We already figured Spirit Guardians is a good way to go.
So we talked on the video, so I don't want you to.
Oh yeah. You'll have to see the video for the rest.
Yeah, how to use that in mass.
Yes.
You could be a really big turtle shell with a large, I guess. could be a really fast turtle shell with haste, except for your stolen move is 0. That would eliminate your disadvantage on deck saves, though.
Yeah, what?
It would bring you back to 0, and you would get a bonus to your armor class.
Just wildly vibrating.
What happens if a turtle mates with a kappa? I thought turtles was what happened when kappas mated with turtles.
Abominations. That's what you get. Tarrasques.
Our biggest question is what happens to wild shaping turtles?
Mm. Oh yeah, because they would keep their stuff. That's right. Or
Yeah.
they should.
Well, in theory, but I think once you start changing your form.
Mm.
Now, like a dragonborn can still get his breath weapon.
I don't think if you wild shape to a wolf that you're still gonna keep your shell.
Absolutely.
Like,
Turtle wolf.
I can pull my head inside my body. Oh my god!
Turtle bat.
Well, you just become a wordle. Or a bortle in the case of the bat. All kinds of silliness is going in. So, yeah, I can't.
That's how we get the rat turtle.
Yeah.
If you follow us long back, Nate and I have talked about our days of LARPing and running epic crusades, and there was a creature that was called a rat turtle.
Was that what it was called, or that
It
was
was absolutely a rat turtle.
I bet there was a cooler scientific name for it, but that's lost to history.
We'll never know. So are their kids called Tortellini? Ada Morpheus. Yes, definitely. Yeah. So if there's any more questions about Tomb of Annihilation or Tortles or actually anything really, you guys can drop them in the chat. We'll start the roll call. See where everyone's tuning in from while we're waiting for some questions. Got a bunch of you guys watching today.
Yes,
It's beautiful out. What are you guys doing?
It's too hot out.
I don't know. It seemed like it was really nice out when everyone was coming over.
I'm overheated. I was outside for too long.
Oh yeah, what were you doing?
I was a scout thing over at a farm.
Milking pigs and stopping cows.
Hay rides, corn mazes, picking pumpkins.
Sound allergific.
Mm.
Yeah, it also seems like something you should do next month.
Yeah. I can't change the planning of things.
Oh, you can't. You sort them all.
And it's probably easier to get it scheduled in for a big group of people earlier on.
Victor, Andrew brought up in his video that turtles basically are the only race that make a good strength monk. You know, I meant to bring that up and forgot to.
Well, now it has been.
Now it's been brought up. We got Jeremy in Central Florida. We got Victor in Niagara Falls. We've got Joshua in Kent, Washington in the house. We got Connor in California. Zaref Gaming riding a Stegosaurus and Wee!
Nice.
I thought we discussed the Wi-Fi problems with Forgotten Realms. Hey, Ranger Roy. We've got Wilder Smith in New York. We got Contempt in Michigan. Comrade 2261 is in Lynn, Massachusetts. Prue is in Denmark, of course. We've got the southern part of Maine with Wolfenson 2.0. Sean is in Washington. Guess we didn't give them enough of a head start because I've caught up. Or it's slow. Do Stuffs is in Denmark. 2 people in Denmark? I can't believe it. You guys hanging out together? We got 8 Amapolarios. What? I don't know. Empolario? I don't know how you say that. But he's in Texas, or her is in Texas. Ranger Roy is in Missouri. Satori Shin is in Sacramento, California. Gelatinous Cube is in my basement.
Is it in your basement?
It says in my basement. Regilio is in Utah. Truly Odd, Texas. San Diego with Dana Reed. Christopher Braze in Madera, California. So people are chiming in.
So it's appropriate that the gelatinous cube is underground.
That would make sense.
Yeah, it's a dungeon basement dungeon.
They're about one and the same.
And maybe Zaref Gaming has made some kind of pact in Forgotten Realms, allowing him to get good.
I was thinking maybe he
His patron is Wi-Fi.
maybe he actually picked up one of those hubs that we were considering. and it's got the signal going through some kind of portal.
Yes. Kyle's in Ohio. Andrew is in Fort Lauderdale. Roll for initiative.
I think saying throw down.
Why are we throwing down?
Because Dave couldn't say 8 Ampolibros, his name.
Yeah.
And he didn't phonetically spell it for you?
No. We're just rolling for initiative. We now have a D20 handy. Surprisingly.
We also have James Delaney in Sheffield, UK, and Thomas Bergard in Houston, Texas.
Sweet.
There's a D20 magic 8 ball over there.
There is. So what do we got coming up this week, right? We got, and for any of you guys that missed it, down in the description below, you can find a link to the contest we're running. And that contest is for our 40K subs, which we did a little while ago. And the prizes are, you can play in a game with Nerdarchy. You can have one of your favorite Nerdarchists run a game for you and your friends. You can
run a game for us.
Or you can share Nerdarchy by having one of us run the game, and we pick randomly from the fans or whatever to add to that game. So you can do with what you and if you choose to actually have Nerdarchy in person for the game, as long as you put us up and get us there, we'll consider doing that as well.
And the game can be by winner's choice, either broadcast or not.
Yes, absolutely. Welcome, Thomas, new to the channel. Glad to have you.
Awesome. Welcome.
And for anyone who didn't see, yes, the GM tips that we went and shot a couple months ago is finally up. So that's cool.
Exciting stuff.
Got a question from Showmanship Gaming. Are there any sections in Tome that describes how to set up a creepy, suspenseful mood for the party? And if so, how good of a job do you think it does?
We did not read it all the way through. Admittedly, we kind of like cherry picked and tried to get the feel for it, because we went out and got it and then literally like shot the video.
We picked it up Monday night or Tuesday night, and then filmed it Wednesday.
Yeah, so we did not have that much time with it. So we wanted to pick out the sections that weren't going to be spoilers.
Mm-hmm. So in regards to what's coming up, tonight is my game, and I don't know how many episodes we are behind in getting the fan games up
a
there.
lot.
But we'll see whether or not Griffin Gaff is still standing at the end of tonight. We've got some guests coming on for next week. I know I'm excited to talk to the artist from the Dresden Files on Monday, Tyler Warple. I hope I pronounced that correctly.
He can correct you if you're wrong.
No, is it just him, or did you say there was someone else as well?
I believe it's just going to be him on for that.
Okay.
I've got like next week all filled out.
That's awesome.
But I don't have it in front of me, sadly, as to who's coming on. But I know Boris Stremlin is coming on Thursday. He's been a big part of the Nerdarchy community for a long time.
Absolutely.
So I had invited him, and he's got like he always has such amazing comments in the comment section and commentary. So I figured it was definitely he was definitely a worthy guest to have on. I can't wait to hang out and talk to Boris.
Is his brain going to come through the thing and beat you upside the head?
Maybe it might it might break the internet. It's always a possibility. I know I have Mike coming on from RPG Academy on Friday. Is it Adacon is a convention that they run every year that's coming up in November. So he wants to talk about that and the podcast and general nerdiness and D&D stuff. So there's 3 of them right off the top of my head. I know I got a couple more up my sleeve as well. I believe Adam Bradford from D&D Beyond will be on.
Nice.
So we'll be able to talk to him about D&D Beyond and gaming in general. He's actually been a fan of ours, he said, since when he found us through the Archer video, which feels like forever ago.
Well, there's a lot of people who have come on to some of our old character builds that even if we did them a while ago, they're still getting fresh views.
Yeah, that Archer on our website, the Archer article is killer. Still,
Conrad 2261, is the book better put together than Princes of Apocalypse? Like, just section 1 starts at the beginning and the end of the campaign is set at the end of the book, whereas PTA is all over the place. I feel like with each adventure, they've gotten better and better. And also, like, at a certain point, I think right around Strahd is when Wizards of the Coast really took over. A lot of the earlier books were outsourced, actually. So I feel like the Wizards team actually does a better job.
Well, I think there's a lot there, and as noted by the pile of books behind Dave, I mean, I've got all of the 5th edition material there, even though we don't run the pre-planned adventures. But not only is there useful stuff to cherry pick out of the actual adventure itself, this one has got 2 unique backgrounds, which I think are both amazing and very different from anything that was put out previously, as well as a whole bunch of other really interesting and useful stuff. There's always new monsters. There's a couple new familiar options, which I think is going to make a lot of people happy.
Yeah, I actually like that part too, where they took a lot of things that, as you said in the video, would kind of be like magical creatures, but they just made them beasts because they're it's a fantastical world, so why not?
Right.
So that part is really cool. I guess part of me was hoping that they would have some sidebars for them, like they do for some of the other familiars, but nah, they're just animals. It's just a cute monkey or a bunnycorn or whatever they are.
Bunnycorn, a flying monkey, the Ella Mirage or something along those lines. And the other one's like, nope, it's just a flying monkey, and it's adorable.
It doesn't need any other powers.
I mean, it's got a climb speed, a fly speed, and a regular speed. I mean, that's pretty powerful for a familiar.
Yeah, and it can sit on your shoulder and eat things cutely. So, or throw stuff at people.
It has the adorable power. That's a word. Or fling poo.
I said stuff.
If necessary.
It could be anything.
Yeah. Sadly, it doesn't have dark vision. I think that's its major downfall.
It's a daytime monkey.
It's a daytime monkey. That's my I was going to say my wizard. My cleric's familiar's biggest thing is like he's got dark vision out to 120 feet, so I can put him on my shoulder, close my eyes, and see the dark.
And then as long as you fed him properly, he won't let you trip on things.
Yeah,
but it's a magically created thing, so it doesn't really.
Oh, okay.
I might still like to eat.
Or like trip.
Well, trip. I imagine as much as Relion likes to eat, he shares.
Joshua Ramada, what are some of the risks and rewards involved in some of these adventures we're discussing as far as treasures, monsters, or traps? Well, there's tons of new monsters in there, as well as it seemed also pretty puzzle heavy as well. There are some unique rewards you can kind of get. Like we talk about the one.
I don't know whether that's a reward though.
Well, it depends on where you're at. Like where you can play a zombie. Now I pulled out Ted had talked about the NPC that was attached to it, but I pulled that out. So when people get it, they won't know exactly where.
Right.
So so that's kind of cool. Like, if you die, there's rules for being a zombie. There's also like interesting. I want to say mundane, but they're not. Like they're fruits and stuff that you can get your hands on and have different properties to them, as well as the
part of me is like, okay, I can't say, oh, do this or do that, because I don't want to, give away little hints and things. But there's certainly races that have an advantage.
Yeah. Jotless Cube, unrelated, but can you gents recommend a name for a newly created dwarf PC? We'd be honored for him to be christened by Nerdarchy and their beards.
All right, well, Dave, you are the dwarf lord amongst us.
Yeah, I always like Uthers and Unthers. This character is Uthengar. Like, so it's always like, or Gorum. You always like want hard consonants, a lot of hard consonants in there. And then for your,
but you don't want C's and K's. I think they're more linked to orcs.
Yeah, I guess in the beginning,
I also use Dwarven Rune language. So.
Yeah, I like the G sound a lot of times for them, or I think R works really well. But whatever it is, like M's and N's not so much, because I like I mean, even though like Moradin is like the path, but I like harder sounding consonants. So I would actually probably use Season K's probably. And then the clan name is where you can have fun. It's like Firebeard or Shield Breaker or Stone Shield.
I always look at, okay, what are you trying to do with the character? So like we've got, the NPCs that you guys ran across, a handful of sessions ago. You've got Skin Etcher and Gear Grinder. You could have, Stone Hammer, Storm Hammer. You literally can just make two things that are connected to your character and mush them together.
For the family names,
yeah.
Definitely works. Ironbeard, I've used that one in the past. Uthengar is Black Guys, Clan Black Iron. Crathen Gulch is the name of where they live. But if we had to come up with a specific, I guess part of it too is what does your character do? Like, what is his class? What is his background? What did you pick for your tools? So I think all that kind of just goes into it.
They're informative to the name.
Yeah, they should be.
They can be. Yeah.
Dwarves are very functional that way, I feel like.
But you could also be something that your clan isn't. So I had a merchant, and he was Arbrum Holdenhale. That was just what I decided to call him. It wasn't like Battle Axe or anything like that. So,
did he put any responses?
No, but there's other questions and stuff coming in. Yeah, so really, in order to go, Shiv's the Stabba, Gormer, Sticky Beard. The names are coming in. Bonegar, Broadaxe.
You should take a climber's kit, and his name is Crathen Gulch Climber. There you go.
Iron Guts.
Iron Guts.
That's a good one.
Steel Shanks.
Fire Tankard would be fun.
Oh, he's an ale brewing fighter.
Oh yeah, I see, Fire Tankard.
Yeah, so then you can go down to anything involving ale or brew in the name.
Firehouse. I like fire. I like adding fire to whatever they're doing, or flame. Or you could go. I've done Deep Hammer as a clan name, but you could put deep in front of anything that kind of works for them,
right?
Or you could, or if maybe if their clan has a more nefarious or been kind of outlawed or whatever, you put dark in front of it, Dark Forge or Dark Hammer, Dark Axe. Guthric Firebeard, that's a good one. Orin Brace. I do like the O sound. I like the U sounds. Orin Iron. I read that. Brock Beer Bash.
Yeah, see, Brock to me seems more orc.
Uther Rotbeard. Yeah, that would definitely be more of a darker one. And then you have to decide too is does he come from a clan of brewers?
I haven't made very many dwarven characters. I remember long time ago, I had a dark dwarf, who his beard was literally melted off. So he was Grevin the Beardless One.
Yeah, and that's another thing. That's not going to be a clan name. That's going to be the name he goes by or whatever.
Right.
And he was also was that the evil character?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he might have even been outcast from his clan anyway, and been denied a clan name.
And now the locals have boogeyman stories about a beardless dwarf.
Yeah.
That comes for you at night.
I liked that character. I don't even remember exactly how Dave killed him.
Yeah, there was a bunch of them that died, so I don't remember.
Think all the way of all evildoers. Smashing stuff.
Speaking of evildoers.
Everything's
Dugars. Nothing to see here. Jet Thunder Drum. All right, so I lost all the questions to I don't know. Contempt. I don't watch Naruto, so I would not be able to D&D eyes.
Sorry, I can't help you.
Yes.
I watch a lot of anime, but
I
have watched a lot of anime, but not Naruto.
I've not seen a single episode. Sorry.
I have seen episodes, but not enough to. Ghetto Boys. So he's asking about Destinies in 4th edition. I don't even know if we were playing 4th edition when the Destinies came out, and because we only played for about a year and a half before we moved elsewhere.
Yeah, that does not seem to be in the databanks.
Voice of Man, let us know how that works out. He just opened up his West Marches campaign to Tortles. I'm looking forward to seeing how they play. I would too. Like, the problem with all this stuff all the new stuff coming out is we don't play enough to play them, which is a bummer. So tomorrow, if you guys want to check out the second half of the game I'm playing with Dawnforge cast, and a lot of the cast from Saver Dice are on there as well. Jim Davis, Jonathan Pruitt, Joshua Davis, maybe. I'm not entirely sure. His name is Joshua. I just can't remember if it's Jim's brother. I think it is. And
what channel is that going to be on?
Dawnforge, yes.
Okay.
And we were playing his intro to D&D adventure that he wrote, so we're kind of like play testing it. The first session is already up, so now we'll be doing the second session to complete it.
And what time is that?
That is...
putting him on the spot. Sorry.
That is, I think it's 1:30 Mountain Time.
Okay.
Which I think is 3:30 in real people time. No, in my time, in Eastern time. I'm gonna have to actually double check before that happens. But that game was a lot of fun, and I'm actually playing a Mountain Dwarf Warlock of the old one with a background that I go with. Dang, I forgot the background now. It was all of a week ago.
I don't remember. I think you told me that. I don't remember now.
Yeah,
is he a criminal?
Nah, he's not a criminal. He's not a hermit. He's not a soldier. Maybe it was
Urchin.
Urchin. We got Acolyte. We got
Acolyte.
Sage.
He was Acolyte. That's actually what I went with. He's kind of like a fallen priest.
Okay.
And I don't actually remember his name. Flamebeard is like the family name that he goes by, but that's not his real family name.
It's a lie.
It is a lie. It is a lie. But oh no, Victor was invited to play in that game today, but unfortunately it was rescheduled. Bummer.
And we also have the nine of the Nag tomorrow night,
right? Yeah, sure.
That's the third?
This is the third weekend, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So that's happening tomorrow night as well. Forgot about that. What time are we doing that?
That should be 8 o'clock EST.
Okay, cool. So I'm gonna have to put that on my calendar. I know. Did you just smack a troll?
Just slap somebody. That's all. It's fine.
Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah.
Now was it justified this time? Not like comic book university issue.
So Voice of Man.
It was justified. It was not justified.
Voice of Man at the Nerds. What's your favorite setting to play in?
We've gone through this. If I had push come to shove, like what do I want to play in right now? Eberron.
Yeah, Eberron is probably my favorite as well. We have like my holy trinity is like Eberron, Darkson, and
that's where I would go for my third.
Ravenloft.
Never been a fan of Ravenloft.
Dark Sun, Ravenloft. Yeah, definitely those. And Spelljammer. So those are my three that I'm interested in. But Dark Sun right now, because I want to see how it's done. I've got plenty of theories on how I would do the Dark Sun campaign.
There's a Final Fantasy question for you gents.
Well, there's so many iterations of Final Fantasy, and it's been a long time, so I'll see what I can do.
Yeah, it also says old Final Fantasy games.
Okay, there's a better chance I can answer this now.
So Ben asks, question, what do you think of a wizard based on the Black Mage from the old Final Fantasy games?
Oh, Black Mage. I love Black Mage. You know, any kind of, AoE or, damage dealer be fantastic. You could go with Sorcerer, you could go with Wizard. Yeah, I've debated, how to properly make him, but anything that's gonna, that would fall into your, if you want to use MMO terms, your DPS. So that's what you want to do.
So Fenrir asked, does 5e have many class flat books like older editions did? No, there's none. I think we're gonna get our first one, and it's going to be more of a hodgepodge. Come November with Xanathar's Guide. So pretty much right now it's all core stuff. It's on Arthurcana. Sword Coast Adventure has a little bit in it, but not much. Yeah,
we dabble with the skag. You get some spells. You get some. Spells. You get some new background options. There's like 1 or 2 archetypes in there, right?
It might be more than that, but there's a few. Yeah.
There's just Mastermind, Storm Sorcerer, or anything else.
Yeah, there's a Paladin one.
Swashbuckler in there.
Swashbuckler. There's a few of them in there. But yeah, it's definitely not a class book. That's for sure.
Oh yeah.
That's definitely a book where we bought it, and we bought it for 10 pages of what's actually in there. Undying Warlocks, our gaming saying, yeah, there's a handful.
Right, so there's more than I remember, but it's there.
What do you suggest, Roll20 or Fantasy Grounds? Well, Fantasy Grounds is sponsoring our favorite dice game, so I'm kind of biased. But we do more theater of the mind than anything, so we don't do a lot of virtual tabletops.
When we do online, anyway.
We don't really do any virtual tabletops offline.
Well, that's true. My fault.
Is that a trick question, Ted?
Yes.
He's playing different games than us, Ted.
Yes. I'm sorry.
Showmanship Gaming. I want to play a Kender. Nobody else wants you to play a Kender. I can tell you this right now.
The stories that my wife has shared of the Kender that she played 15, 20 years ago is more Kender than I need to have.
Generally, people play Kenders when they just want to be assholes to the rest of the party.
In a tiny little cute package.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's like, I'm adorable, don't kill me.
Yeah, I think Matt played pretty good Kender back in the day.
Zareth Gaming, no love for Kryn. Ranger Roy, Kryn is awesome. There's definitely elements from Kryn that I really like, mostly the Minotaurs. And I did read a lot of those novels.
I read the original trilogy of Dragonlance, and I'm like, okay, I don't feel compelled to read anymore.
I actually felt the other stuff was kind of better.
And that's what you've said, but I've never gone back and said, okay, well, let's take that advice and pick it up.
But then again, that's also my opinion now, having read those books back in, high school, junior high. I'm not sure if they would. I'm not sure how well they hold up. That is always a problem. Although I read almost all of them except for the ones that everyone says you're supposed to read, or you have to read, the books with the twins in them. I skipped those and kind of read everything else.
Well, for me, I've said this before, but I was poisoned inadvertently because the guy that we've talked about before, Steve, who we used to game with, he held Raceland up on this pedestal, and reading the original trilogy, he was nothing. I'm like, I like Tanis. Tanis is cool, and Raceland, blah. So
that's because Raceland doesn't get good until
later,
the very end, and mostly outside of those books.
Right. So, I was expecting Raceland to be awesome. Oh, he wasn't. So, yeah. I tend to read far more Forgotten Realms stuff. I read all the Dark Sun. I read a handful of Eberron. And then, outside of WOTC, I've read, loads of other stuff.
Yeah, Ranger Raft agreed. Lord Soth is a beast. And the books with Lord Soth and Ravenloft are even better. Sean Murphy, don't go back. Those books are horribly written. I find there's a lot of things like that from my childhood that it's better off if I just lovingly remember them and don't go back. Why ruin a good thing? Let's see.
Speaking of books that are written a while back, I'm doing some Melf wizard research, and I was checking out one of the books as Artifact of Evil.
I was like, Nate, this isn't that kind of show. We don't talk about this.
M-E-L-F.
Gotcha,
Yes.
gotcha.
So Melf the Arrow, and so I'm reading some of the old books, like Gary Gygax's books, like Artifact of Evil, and I'm like, something's twisting in my mind as I'm reading it. I don't know what it is. I haven't decided yet. But as I'm reading it, I'm just like, am I in a campaign or I'm reading a different? Like it's just something about it is quirky to me. So I have to say yes.
Is it one of those like old books where the main character is like, I cannot cast this spell. It is 4th level, and I can only cast 2nd level.
I did not
spells.
come upon that, and actually the combat's pretty decent. But it is nice to be able to be like, oh, I just used Cloud Kill. I know we did.
Because some of the Greyhawk books, really get into that style, and it makes me want to run myself through when they literally just write the mechanics in as part of the story. I'm like, kill.
Die on the spot. Gouge my eyes out. Get a boy Pez at Nerdarchy. How do you all feel about organized play for tabletops? I had the chance to play Starfinder Society games, and I really liked organized play. So I've only played in 2 organized play games, and one was like specific. It was a living campaign for a specific world, and apparently the things we did as a party broke parts of the world.
Oh God!
And everyone was making like this big deal about it, and me and Doug were like, we're just playing this game, right? Because apparently whatever happened was going to live on after we left, and we just did our thing and trucked on, had fun. And then the other thing was I played some AL when I was at Origins. I had fun with that, and I think it's like anything, right? It just depends on your GM and the players you have at the table. All is going to work out what kind of experience that is. Like if you have a bunch of crappy players and a bad DM, well, it's going to be a bad experience. But if you have a really good GM and good players, like even if there's confines that you have to work in because it's a structured gameplay, I feel like the more experienced and better GMs are going to make that work anyway.
I did an AL game when we were on the cruise, and I enjoyed it. And there's pros and cons that go along with that kind of stuff. If you have a hard time finding a group, but you can get into an AL game, well, it's a way to get your gaming on. It's a way to keep going, even if you can't find a regular group. Now, the downside is, in an Adventure League game, they're not going to incorporate the personal stuff, so you're going to miss out on that personal touch in the game. I played a lizard folk, and when I play a monstrous humanoid, I really do it because I want the effect that's going to come across. And you walk into town, and there's none of that is taken into account. What are we looking at?
Just comments.
I said Melf. All right.
So like you're gonna miss out on that kind of stuff, and it is what it is. I enjoyed the game overall. I would do it again.
On my end, I haven't played Adventure League, but I'm interested, and I think it's going to be its own, distinct challenge.
So, Voice of Man at Nerds regarding Eberron. What are some of the things that I should be including in my campaign, in your opinion? So, there's a lot of different ways to do Eberron. The couple one-shots that I ran, I really latched on to the noir aspect of it. And to me, that was what I wanted to capture. There are one-shots, so it's easier to do that. And I don't know if you would want to like latch onto that aspect for a whole campaign, because that might be a little demoralizing to the players. But even when I ran it as a regular, I think there was definitely some instances where I was able to capture that feeling, and and it wasn't like I was hitting my players over the head with it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Just it came up, and actually I ended the campaign that way when we had a player leave. So that part was really fun for me. And what that kind of means is like the endings for a lot of the Eberron books are basically like the heroes accomplish what they set out to accomplish, but it isn't always the thing that they thought. It wasn't what they thought it would be in the end. So it was like a lot of these like hollow victories.
So I want to complete this mission, but completing the mission doesn't give you, the positive end result you think, or okay, well it did this, but it also did that. Oh my!
Yeah, this thing you didn't know about.
So there's always things that can happen that I think are amusing with that. I latch on to Eberron because it's such a magic rich, fantastical world. Yes, I know fantastical is not a word, but I use it anyway.
You gotta say it right, fantastical.
But when you've got magical transportation, magic that's so ingrained in everyday life, that means the things that you do can be that much bigger as an adventurer that's out to change the world.
So what Keith Baker has said, magic in Eberron is it's broad or wide, it's not deep, meaning like it's not super powerful. There's just a lot more of it. Mm-hmm. So like just in like other games, you only have so many high level wizards or characters, but that kind of extends to all of Eberron. Like your NPCs, like a high level NPC in Eberron's like 12th level, and there ain't many of them. Like he's like the king of a nation or something. So you're not gonna have super. It's meant to be focused on the players and the PCs. So there's that. Like they should be able to bump into magical effects and magical things all over the place, but they're not going to be super strong and powerful. The influences of the houses of some of the Dragmark houses, that's going to be something that should be kind of prevalent.
Whereas, if you look at the opposite of Dark Sun, by raw, those are 30th, 40th level characters as Sorcerer Kings.
Yeah. So, we're all going to watch Nate now die live on camera here.
Please don't.
I'm having a little trouble.
You want the Heimlich? I'm probably going to break like 80 of your ribs, but
no, good.
Victor, anyone think about turtle sorcerer with a draconic ancestry, dragon turtle? It is totally worth it. It is such a waste of this stud sorcerer, but it's so worth it.
Nice. He's going out to the sea to find his mama.
Yeah. Zach Maples, I'm so sick of chaotic neutral party members. All they want to do is rob everyone, be edgy. A local crazy guy ran it at the party, so they track to his house and try to kill him. Dude, I'm right there with you. Basically, people who want to play chaotic neutral is because they want an excuse to do whatever they want, whenever they want, and not have alignment. And generally, they're childish and immature, in my opinion, in my experience. You may get different mileage, and you may have a different experience at your table.
You try and do that kind of stuff with me, and it's like, okay, I'm done. Somebody else run. I'm sorry. I've moved beyond that.
Well, you're not. They're not likely. Like if they're just when they do stuff that is just disruptive, it's like, okay, you get a warning, and then you might not get invited back. I do allow chaotic neutral. I just don't allow it the way most people play it. Like I actually we actually touch on this a little bit
in the Eladrin.
In the Eladrin. So to me, chaotic neutral means something completely different than I think it does to other people. And then there is just a sect of people that feel like, oh, I want to do whatever I want, so I'll be chaotic neutral. And it's like they play it as the non-alignment.
Right.
As if it gives them a pass to just do whatever.
Yeah, pretty much.
If you want to just go murder people whenever you want, you're evil, hands down. Like, don't try to...
Yeah, essentially. Oh, he ran it at you, so you murder him. Yeah, that's an act of evil. So you can't go, oh, I'm chaotic neutral, it's okay. It doesn't really work that way.
If you're chaotic neutral, you really should have, a random reaction chart. Oh, he ran it at you? You point and laugh. You go give him a hug. You offer him money so that he stops. Like, these should all be options, and it shouldn't always be the same thing. Like,
my necromancer that talks to his undead little familiar thing is chaotic neutral.
Right.
And he's crazy.
Nebuchadnezzar is lawful evil, but Rykard is chaotic neutral. So he's tamed by a lawful evil thing. Which is really just him, but you know how it goes with chaotic neutral people.
Right.
But he's not going to kill someone. He has a methodology to what he does. He's lawful good as far as he's concerned.
So Patrick Harrigan. Question: playing a level 10 Aarakocra Druid, and I'm looking for a concentration spells to use before turning into an elemental. Call lightning before an air elemental. spells for other elements. Examples.
Not high enough for Sunbeam, right?
Yeah, that would Sunbeam, Moonbeams. They're different ones. But here's the thing: like we have not actually memorized the player's handbook or all the spells.
It's over there.
Since I haven't really played a druid beyond like 3rd level, so I wouldn't actually know that much about their spell list.
I think Sunbeam's 6th.
I only know druids from the ones that have been in my game.
But the chat might be a good place to find those.
Oh, is he looking for concentration spells so he can wild shape afterwards?
Yes.
Okay, heat metal, flaming sphere. Those are decent.
That's a 2nd and a 3rd, right?
Yeah, I think so. So you can deal with them a couple times.
And fire is easy because it has like the most. When you get into earth and water, it's going to be a little bit harder to find spells that are like that. Maybe like Odalix, freezing sphere or something. But I don't know if that's actually a druid spell. It's just one of the ones that comes to mind.
It's Wall of Fire, because it's a 10th level druid, right? Wall of Fire might be...
Yeah, the wall spells are around 4th-ish.
4th and 5th.
So Wall of Fire, Wall of Ice, like those kind of things might work. Speaking of chaotic neutral, I have a dire chicken familiar. I don't know if there's anything that spurred that like earlier in the chat or not, but like that's kind of random.
I was talking about my chaotic neutral guy who has a familiar. So.
Yeah. So with that, it is just past 3 o'clock, and we still have more videos to crank out and all that good stuff.
And stuff following. So
yeah. So with that, guys, until next time, stay nerdy.